at that age, I'm alone, I have to make my own decisions. No one can advise me what to do. So in the early spring, I decide that it is absolutely senseless for me to stay here. I might as well take advantage of what I got and see what I can do later on. And I went ahead and left Hungary. But that's not as easy as I say left, because by that time, by the spring of 1946, the Russians were totally occupying the country and closing the borders. So you could not just cross the border and go into another country. Through some Jewish agencies' help again, they managed to take me to the border town. And in the border town, they housed me in an old deserted Jewish schoolhouse with a group of people. And through their own means, which means that probably they bribed the guards, whatever the system, but about 3-4 weeks after being there, one night they snuck us out through the border, and we ended up in Vienna at the Rothschild Hospital, which was converted into a transitory camp. And they were hoping to collect people who have desired to emigrate to Palestine. But I had other plans, so I managed to get on a train from Vienna to Frankfurt. And I was literally pushed on this train, and for the entire travel from Vienna to Frankfurt overnight, I stood on the top of a toilet because there were that many people. See, transportation was just so inefficient yet. Anyhow, I made it to Frankfurt, I made it back to my location, and within weeks I reported to the American consulate in Frankfurt, and because my passage was to be prepaid and will not be a burden on the country or on any Jewish agencies, and I was young, they managed to put me into one of the earliest shipments, shall we say. So in September, out of Bremenhaven, I left on a ship called Marine Marlene, and arrived in New York September 17, 1946. And from there by train I came to Chicago, where my relatives met me. And that's how I got to Chicago.
Were you in New York at all, or did you go straight to Chicago?
From New York, everything was organized through the Hayas Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society's services. They had a group meeting us at the ship. They had a group taking us to a housing area. And there we were processed, we had to identify ourselves, whatever the administrative end of was necessary. Then they assigned a person to you. And a young man was assigned to me, and I was under his care. Matter of fact, he took me to a coffee shop before he took me to the train, because I guess there was time, whatever. And he asked me, there was 90% sign language. I spoke German very well. I knew a little bit of English, but somehow or another we communicated. And he treated me for some chocolate milk and cake or whatever. But anyhow, then he put me on the train and told me, that people will be waiting for where I should go. So the train came direct to Chicago.